I know I wrote a book, right? It's called Buy a Game and it's free. Click the link down there. You got it.
DreAllDay.com.
What's going on, everybody? Dre Baldwin, DreAllDay.com. This week's motivation is about developing the habit of doing more than you're paid for. The habit of doing more than you are paid for. Now, when I say paid, we could be talking about money as your job or in your business, or if you get hired as a freelancer, do more than you're paid for. But this can also mean, the pay can mean other things. Whatever represents a good return to you. Return for you could be attention. It could be love. It could be connection to other people. It could be someone just celebrating you and looking at you as a successful person. It could be someone just talking you up to another person, making you look good. Whatever it is you expect as pay, and we all expect those things at different points in life as pay, you need to develop the habit of doing more than you expect to get paid back. Because what this does, I'll tell you what it does at the end. I got this idea actually from listening to Napoleon Hill. Napoleon Hill is the author of the book Think and Grow Rich, and one of my top 5 favorite books, which is called The Law of Success. And one of the things that he talks about, he lays out his 17 principles to be a successful person. If you don't know what those principles are, what you need to do is go to the Work on Your Game podcast. Every day, it's free. It's on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Google Play. I did a 2-episode series where I explained each one of those 17 principles and what they mean. So if you didn't hear that, you need to go find that episode on my podcast. Go look up my podcast, DreAllDay.com/podcast. Listen to those episodes. Listen to every episode so you can get your mind right. But anyway, Napoleon Hill talks about this. One of the points is the habit of doing more than you're paid for. The habit of going the extra mile. Y'all have heard the phrase that it's never crowded on the extra mile, right? Everybody's heard that phrase before? Okay, understand this. When you do more than you're paid for, this is what happens. You put the universe or the people you're working for or the person who hired you or your boss or whoever you're dealing with, the game of basketball, if you're a basketball player, you put it in a deficit. You put it in a position of owing you. Basically, it's in the red. It owes you back because it paid you $10, but you gave $20 worth of effort. If someone's paying you $10 and you give $20 worth of effort or produce $20 worth of results over and over and over and over again, one of two things is going to happen. Number one, eventually they're going to start paying you $20. Why? Because you're giving them $20 worth of returns. Number two, somebody else is going to notice what you're doing. They're going to offer you $25 because they see the level that you're delivering. Number three, and all three of these things could happen. It doesn't have to be one at a time. Number three thing is going to happen is some other opportunity that has nothing to do with what you're doing over here is going to come to you, and you're going to think it's luck. You're going to think it's perfect timing. You're going to think it's just serendipitous that it happened to you. But no. All it is the universe balancing itself out. It's like balancing a checkbook. I don't think people even balance checkbooks anymore because everything's digital. But it's balancing out the accounts. Because if you got 100 going in here, but you only got 50 coming out, there's an imbalance. It has to be balanced out. Y'all have heard the phrase that the universe always balances itself out. Y'all know the law of karma, right? What you put out is what you get in, what you get back. Everything that you get is a result of something that you've done. Y'all know that, right? Everybody agrees with the law of karma as far as I've checked. Any person I ever asked, do you believe in karma? They all say yes. Okay, so the habit of doing more than you're paid for, if you believe in karma, is a simple idea. You give more than you are getting, eventually you're going to have to receive a whole bunch because you've been giving so much but not getting the same amount back. Everybody agrees with that, right? You agree with that, don't you? Because you agree with karma. Exactly. I remember I was watching the movie Blow, and Johnny Depp, the character in Blow, and if you didn't see Blow, Johnny Depp was a drug dealer. He was like this large-scale drug dealer who introduced cocaine to the United States. But on one scene in the movie, he went to go see this guy who was selling, I believe he was still selling marijuana at the time. He was selling weed. And he went to go see this guy who grew marijuana. He said to the guy, listen, I want to buy all the marijuana that you got. And the guy, I don't remember the exact numbers, but George said, listen, I'm going to come down here with an airplane and I'm going to give you $1 million in cash, then you won't be concerned that I'll try to take your marijuana and not give you the money. And the guy said, you bring me that much money, I don't have any concerns. So George leaves, he comes back, and he meets the guy, and he says, listen, I know I told you I was going to bring you X number of dollars. I don't think it was $1 million, but let's just say it was $1 million. He said, I know I told you I was going to bring you $1 million, but I couldn't do it. And the guy who was growing the weed got this look on his face, disappointed, like, man, I knew I shouldn't have trusted this guy. And then George says, well, I actually got $2 million. And the guy was super surprised because he thought he was going to be disappointed. Then George hit him with, I actually got $2 million. And I'm bringing that up to tell you this. George was giving more than he was getting. He brought the $2 million up front to build trust between him and this guy who was growing the marijuana, and that's how he was able to get supplied so much and start to make himself more money. And that's a whole different story. You can watch the movie if you want to see it. I'm telling you that for all of you, especially if you have a job. You work at a job, you know you're getting paid X number of dollars per hour, no matter what you do. A lot of people get complacent in that position. Get complacent like, all right, well, I know I'm getting paid this much, so it really doesn't matter what I do. If I don't show up, if I do show up, if I work hard, if I slack off on the job, I'm still getting paid the exact same amount of money. Develop this habit. It's actually a discipline that you're developing. Develop this discipline because the habits you build now at this job that you think doesn't matter, or you know you're going to be leaving soon to go do something bigger, the habits you develop now, the disciplines you develop now, and not giving your all is a discipline. Okay? Being lazy is a discipline. The disciplines you develop now will follow you to the next thing you do, and the next thing, and the next thing, and the next thing. And also your reputation will follow. Even if you think nobody knows about it, your reputation to the universe will follow you to the next place you go. It will show up before you show up. Y'all heard the phrase, your reputation precedes you? Okay, that's what it is. All right, that's an energy. You can just tell. You ever meet somebody, you can just tell they're lazy. You can just tell they don't show up. You can just tell they don't do the things they say they're going to do. All right, that's your reputation preceding you. And if you think it's happening with other people, it's definitely happening with you too. You ain't on Work on Your Game University. You ain't on that 30-day discipline. You're not on the bulletproof mindset. You haven't gotten the bulletproof bundle yet. Take care of that situation right now. The link's down there. Y'all see the link up here. Work on your game. DreAllDay.com.